Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about on this episode is the left's inflamed rhetoric around assault weapons ban and gun control. It is reaching a fever pitch. It is getting hotter than Hillary Clinton on election night. This is a situation that we need to examine because as their rhetoric increases, the appetite and the national approval of gun control is falling on a downward trend. I'm going to show you a few tweets. I'm going to show you a few of the things that they're calling for. And then I'm going to show you what even the media is calling out as it's sliding on a downward trend, going back to the mean. It is reverting to the mean of less gun control because it does not work. Now, if you are new, please consider giving us a subscribe. We need as many people as we can in the fold, and we would love the opportunity to earn that subscription. The more we get in here, the more we can spread this message, and thank you so much in advance for consideration. But with that out of the way, my brothers and sisters, we've got to dive into this because earlier today, as we all do, I was perusing David Hogg's Twitter feed. That's a fun little gun control rabbit hole to go down. Anyway, I found this little tweet. This is a recent one. This is from Robert Reich. Now, Robert Reich has 1.5 million followers on Twitter, is a Berkeley professor, a ardent leftist. Let's go with that. Here's what he said around firearms and gun control. Then we're going to have some fun. Researchers have estimated that if we still had a federal assault weapons ban, we would see 70% fewer mass shooting deaths. 70% said with emphasis. Reinstating it should be a no-brainer. Okay, well, let's talk about no-brainers. So, if you go to Robert Reich's Twitter feed, it's pretty far left stuff. But now let's go to somewhere that actually has, well, a shred of credibility left. The actual statistics from the FBI data, okay? This is from 2019. I'm going to show you what weapons are used in homicides. And you tell me is if there would be a 70% reduction in homicides if there was a federal assault weapons ban. Let's dive in. All right. So right here, you've got the total amount of murders in 2019 of 13,927. If you go to firearms, that's 10,258. Handguns, 6,366, so 6,300 of handguns. Rifles, 364. That doesn't seem like a 70% reduction. So that can only really mean one thing. There's got to be a reason why rifles would be in below handguns, would be below hands and fists, would be below bladed objects. So either Robert Reich has a complete ignorant view of the situation, which I'm not ruling out, or they have a different interpretation of what an assault weapon is. And according to Biden, which we're going to get here in a second, a semi-automatic is a sick thing to have in this country. So maybe the true result that they're seeking is getting rid of semi-automatics, which would be handguns. All right, so now let's dive in. I just want to show you that 70% line because that makes no sense and people gobble it up. But everything will be linked in the description box below per usual. Let's get it. Biden calls for an assault weapons ban as support for stricter gun laws decrease. Now that's important because the rhetoric on the gun controlling left is increasing. The national appetite and support is falling. This is not a recipe for success, particularly if you're going around pounding your chest saying we're going to get the assault weapons ban in the next 2 weeks. Let's keep going. Following back-to-back mass situations in Colorado and Virginia, President Joe Biden spoke in favor of an assault weapons ban, a perennially proposed piece of legislation. His comments came as nationwide support for stricter gun laws has slipped in recent months. That says everything you need to say. Biden is demanding this going to be happening. He's going to get it if he can get the votes, which he doesn't have because the filibuster is still in place. And the support nationally is falling. You cannot be successful when your trend line looks like this. Let's keep going. But this stuff is important to understand because as we go forward, the way to counter all of their points and their narrative is to just use facts. And that's why they don't like it too much. Anyway, let's keep going. Quote, the idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick. It's just sick, Biden said on Thanksgiving Day, according to the Associated Press. I'm going to try to get rid of assault weapons. Again, assault weapons is a broad term. Is he meaning semi-automatic like he said, or is he meaning the deadly doomed AR-15? Like, you don't really know what he's talking about here. But even the Robert Reich in the earlier one just says assault weapons with no statistical backing. So I'm just going to go with handguns because that's what Canada did in the same playbook. Despite the highly contentious nature of the issue, Congress passed a bipartisan gun law earlier this year, which created stricter requirements for young people seeking to purchase guns and denied more domestic abusers from obtaining firearms. Now, they're talking about the Violence Against Women Act, and they're talking about the Bipartisan Community Safer Communities Act. The red flag law thing, and then the Violence Against Women, which is the loophole, the boyfriend loophole that they closed, okay? That's what they're talking about. That's not an assault weapons ban. It's not okay, but it's not an assault weapons ban. Let's keep going. Because again, you've got to match the rhetoric with actual reality. But one proposed assault weapons ban passed by the House earlier this year before stalling in the evenly divided Senate. The president's renewed calls for a blanket ban come as support for beefed up gun legislation is trending downward. Let me translate that. The assault weapons ban passed an extremely partisan House by one vote because 2 Republicans bounced over the Democratic side. Even Democrats voted against it. Nancy Pelosi pushed it over the edge in her last term as House Speaker. Woo! All right. Then it goes to the Senate and it stalls. That passed on July 29th and was out there into the Senate, I believe, on August 1st. It's gone nowhere. It doesn't have the votes to get out of committee. It doesn't have the votes to get to the floor. It doesn't have the votes to get over the filibuster. But the point is, there's no national appetite for it either. And that's important to understand. Let's keep going. While still a majority at 57% of surveyed Americans, according to the Gallup poll conducted in October, that's down from 66% in June. That's support for gun control. So it went from 66% in June straight downward to 57%. That is what is that? A 9% reduction? That's tremendous. Support for more gun laws reached a record low of 43% in 2011 and an all-time high of 67% in 2018, according to Gallup, which has been tracking Americans' opinions on gun laws since 1990. And this last piece here sums it all up perfectly. The renewed Democratic push for weapon ban has a slim chance of success of becoming new legislation. Pundits say, and those chances will only further diminish as the newly elected representatives and senators are sworn in January, creating a divided Congress. That's the important part. That divided Congress is like a specter on the horizon for these people. They know that when the Republicans have control of the House, it's going to be significantly harder for them to pass anything that they want. And all the executive bureaucracies are actually going to be under a microscope because the Republicans will control all the committees. If you guys thought these past 2 years were interesting, wait till these next 2 years come, and then we're heading towards another general. This is going to be a thing, and I hope you're here for the ride with me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Everything is linked, and I will see you on the next video. I'm Braden. See you later.